Hello, friends. I welcome you to the journey of self. This one is my story from conundrum to clarity. And we are now in our episode 4, in which I would share with you the pivotal moment which changed everything. So far in the story that I've been sharing with you, when it started from me being put on a PIP, that's Performance Improvement Program, and how that impacted me, not just the firm that I was in, which I quit without having another job at hand, my story of shame, and then the emotional distress that I carried forward for many years to come in various other jobs and roles, and many other setbacks which were playing out because I didn't really adapted the correct approach. So after a good chunk of years, like almost 4 to 5 years, when I sat down to reflect, I realized that things have not really changed much. And I was in need of support where I really need to find a way out. And here's when this pivotal moment actually unfolded. It was it was a summer of almost many years ago, and this was around summertime, and I was down with bouts of vertigo, lot of anxiety. And I felt despite, in fact, by the time, the year this happened, I was into a very different role and a job, traveling internationally, earning a lot. But there was something inside which kept nudging me and, you know, letting me know that something was not right. There was something amiss. And during my this very anxious period where I had a lot of anxiety, one day I was coming back and this pivotal moment happened because I realized I got a call. In fact, there were two, three missed calls from the same number, and this was at an international. It was an international number. So I realized maybe someone was trying to reach me, and I should, call this number back. To my surprise, when I spoke to the person on the other end of the call, I got to learn that this was a candidate. In fact, this was one of my colleague in my very, very early years of when I was just a fresher in after my MBA. And this person was 2 years senior to me. But there came a time in his life where I was a big support to this person. And this person called me and thanked me profusely and said, Manas, the way you guided me, you helped me with my interview process, recruitment, and there was one or two other areas where he was really not very confident. And he was also equally into a very a situation which was full of office politics, his own lack of self-awareness, and more or less very similar to mine, but he was not on a PIP, so to say. So that point in time when I had supported him, I long forgotten everything about it. So now when he called back and told me about his success story, the way my assistant and help to him, how that turned out to be, and how he was now in a very, very, in a role, in fact, which he always wanted to be in. And he just called to thank me for it. After when I've finished this conversation, I actually sat back and was very, very emotionally moved that day. I realized as if someone gave me my confidence back, the way this person appreciated my help, my guidance, my support. It was as if someone just told me, you know what, the skills, the ability you had, which I thought I never had in the first place. I was so carried away and so confused and heedless that I long forgotten all the good stuff that I did at my work, in my job. No wonder I was promoted so many years and all those certificates. So when this person called me and just thanked me and was so grateful, this pivotal moment made me reflect and come out of my victimhood, my self pity that I was so much lost into, that I sat back and I recalled what I actually did specific to this person. And then I got a lot of clarity. Oh, yes, this was a situation. And then this made one thought led to another. And then I realized how well and the kind of skill I had. And one thing that stayed with me after the end of that conversation with this friend of mine was he was so appreciative of one strength that I always had was my ability to help people find clarity in the most ambiguous of situations. In fact, he also, during a conversation, made me recollect that there was a project once which had completely from the scratch that I started, brought it to complete closure with a huge launch and a grand success. So when he reminded me of all of those, I just sat back and realized, oh yes, I did this. And as if something kind of some power inside me said, I think I really now need to make a move and find my way out. And this pivotal moment was like somebody shaking me out of a deep slumber. And after speaking with him, the, the next immediate thing I did was I took a decision. So I said no more of this indecisiveness and self pity and victimhood. And I decided that I'll invest in myself. But at that time, I had almost exhausted most of my savings. And I was into, even though I was into a role, but I really never gave myself the permission to take credit for all the good work that I did. So I decided that going forward, I will invest in myself. And regardless of what the cost would be, I will give myself the permission to really find a way out and get out of the mess that I was in. So that day, friends, when I took this decision, that was a turning point in my life, which started with a call from a colleague and friend who I helped many years ago, almost 10 or 12 years ago. So here's where I decided that I need to hire a professional support. I will no longer do things on my own. I will no longer follow the DIY approach, and come what may the price, I will make sure I'll invest and achieve the goals I've planned. So here's where my journey from conundrum to clarity, I took my first step.